Right. There you go, Caroline. Dawn. Am I supposed to be taller on this thing here?
No, that's good.
It is?
Oh, geez. Here, let me move that back a little bit.
When we move this down?
Yeah.
There we go. I'm good.
That's much better. Should be ready to go. Am I on mute? No, you're not on mute, although nothing's, hello? Can you all hear us in there?
We can hear you.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and start today with questions from Jeff Metcalf. Jeff, go ahead. Jeff, do you have a question? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry, there we go. Hi, Dawn. I just wondered if you can give us an update on Tarazi and then just your early thoughts on being here in Japan.
Diana looked great today. Got out there and I mean, she just raised the level of our practice. Or her ability just to make great basketball decisions, passing, shooting the basketball, and just her whole morale. I mean, she is high energy, and just takes our practice to another level. We're excited. I mean, it took us a long time to get here, just waiting over a year to be here, and we're super excited to get things started. But first, we got a few days to get some prep work in. I thought we had a really good day today. Just zoned in on some stuff that we wanted to improve in, and I thought we did it energetically.
Thank you, Don. We'll go next to Takeshi Shibata. Takeshi?
Hello, Don. Thank you for your time and welcome to Japan. I'm calling from Tokyo, Japan, so we are on the same soil. Welcome. And my question is just simply, how are you feeling now in the newly coming Olympic village? What's going on?
You know, it's always exciting when we get a chance to visit the Olympic Village. You really get a real good feel of the athletes and how many athletes are there, the size of athlete, how well they take care of their bodies, and it was great. We ate in the Olympic Village. We saw the Puerto Rican team that we played earlier in June, but it's just a wonderful feeling. I took pictures of all the different countries who had their flags hanging out of their rooms. I think it just was an awesome experience. I know our first timers all probably took it all in and was super excited about just feeling it. Because sometimes when you're not in the village, you don't really get a real good feel of the type of athletes that are here. And it's a lot of them. And they're from all over the world. They're the very best in the world, and they're representing their country, and it's, you know, a wonderful thing to experience.
Did you get any kind of cultural encounter, like Japanese greeting or something like that?
I didn't, you know, I don't think I look like an athlete. I probably look more like a coach. So most athletes want to connect with other athletes, and we didn't get a chance to. The players went in before we did, so I'm sure they interacted with other athletes from all over the world, and it would have been cool to see their interaction, but we were kind of left behind.
Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy Tokyo,
Thank
Japan.
you.
And next we'll go to Augusta Stone.
Hi, Dawn. I'm Augusta Stone with the state. I wanted to ask you just kind of how do you think that your methods as a coach change, when you're working with the national team versus when you're over here in Columbia working with the Gamecocks?
I think it's similar in that, I approach it the same way. I think they're people first. So I try to, build that relationship with them. And then on the court, when you're on this level, we have an incredible coaching staff. I allow them to coach. They half of them, Dan and Cheryl have been working with the pro athlete for over 40 years between the two of them. This is their element. I lean on them heavily to tell me, how they see things out there on the floor. What's good, what as college coaches, you tend to want to get in a lot of things on each and every practice, whereas probably the pro coaches want to hone in on 2 or 3 things and get really good at it. And we are, us coaches are, for me as a college coach, I coach from the worst case scenario. So I try to cover a lot of things just in case we're in situations where it's foreign to us as a 12-woman roster. Whereas they're like, hey, let's get good at this, and that. And if you get good at that, it will actually force us to get good at some other things while we're doing it. So there's layers and layers of talent. And then Jim Rosati is another great basketball mind. So I think between the 4 of us, we got things covered, and we do it as a joint staff. So which is pretty cool. So very similar to what we do in South Carolina, but just different voices.
Thank you so much and good luck this games.
Thank you.
Roger Cleveland, you're up.
Dawn, thank you very much for doing this. You obviously went there to Olympics several times as a player. Can you talk about maybe how Breanna Stewart can evolve a little bit and be better for you in her second time around?
I mean, Stewie's the best 4 player that can probably play any other position and make it her own position and be the very best at it. I would like for Stewie to be just more vocal. I think she's going to be around for a long time. I do think she is one of those athletes that could be here, a 3rd or 4th or 5th time. And if she wants to go a 6th time, I think she's the one that could do it. So I like for her to just kind of, impose her voice on other people because she's been through it. She's played at the highest level, no matter what team she's playing for, whether it's our Olympic team, whether it's the Seattle Storm, whether it's going over to play in Russia. What she brings to the table is always her very best, and she needs to part way of some of that to some of the younger ones.
And toward that, Nafisa Collier is obviously one of the new players this year. Do you see her growing a little bit to where she can have an impact?
I do. Every player that's on our roster has a role to play for us. Sometimes it's a bigger or smaller role, but at some point, every single person is going to have to help us in their own way. Whether we are, call on Feast to do that every game, I don't know, but I know she'll be called, and more times than not, when you call on them at this level, they come through in a big way.
Thank you.
Dan Moriarty, you're up next.
Thanks, Coach, for doing this. This will be you've won 5 Olympic medals already as a player and a coach. You've been the flag bearer for Team USA as well. How different will this Olympic experience be? And what were some of the challenges just arriving here in Tokyo?
I mean, this experience is a lot different in that you do feel the pressure of being the head coach like no other. As players, there's certain things that you can control. As assistant coaches, there are certain things you don't control. As a head coach, there's a lot of things that you control, and the weight of it you feel. and it is a lonely place at times. But we have to do what we've done. It takes every single one of us to do our jobs. That's players, as staff members, as coaches. That's everybody has a job to do. And fortunately for us, most times in this situation, there are people who have done it before. I mean, this isn't rocket science. I mean, I've watched Gino do it. I've watched Ann Donovan do it. I've somewhat watched Van Chancellor as a coach, and I'm a player. The same with Tara Vanderveer and Nell Fortner. It is you have to give the players a space to be great and make plays and not get in the way, but also get in the way when it's time for you as coach to make decisions out there on the floor. So I'm super excited about it. I think I've been in familiar situations, and um, I have to be ready when it's time for me to coach the team in a certain space in the game.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
we're going to close out this availability with Coach Staley with Michelle Vogel. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, Dawn, I was wondering if you could maybe give us a sense of how much you think post play has changed at an international level, going all the way back to maybe the first time you played versus now, and how your team maybe is constructed to best contend with that, or be really good at that.
Well, I think post play has changed a great deal because and I think we've changed along with it. I think for the longest, international players were a lot of them post players were face up players, and they still are still doing it. They've perfected it. They move around a lot more than just your triangle of the two blocks and then the high post. You have to guard them all over the floor. You have to guard them in the corner. You got to guard them on the wings. You got to guard them, in transition and not in their traditional spots. And I think we've grown as a country because of what we had to face. And you see Stewie, you got to guard her all over the place because sometimes she's a 3 or a 4. And then Asia Wilson does a great job of shooting from the outside. Tina Charles, they all have that international experience, and they have that international outside play that you know that allow us to match up with them. But we also have dominant post players who can work the block and work the paint, and I think that is probably our separation when it comes to post play.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are out. You send Stewie in. Stewie, you're next.